The Kufans got to hear that the Imam has left Medina, has gone to Mecca. And then they started writing letters to the Imam. There was a man by the name of Sulaiman ibn Surad Khuza'i. In his house, several people from the Kufa, notable, prominent people, gathered, and Sulaiman addressed them and said, listen, Muawiyah is dead, Hussein has refused to give the oath of allegiance to Yazid, and has left Medina and gone to Mecca. Now, if you are confident that you want to support him and fight against his enemies, then write and inform him of this. And if you are not confident of this, then do not deceive him into risking his life. Everybody said, we are ready to fight his enemies. We're waiting for the Mawla. He said, okay, so write a letter. They wrote a letter, the crux of which is that we have no Imam. Please come to us, and through you, God will unite us on truth. This letter arrived in Mecca to Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, on 10th of Ramadan al-Mubarak. 2 days later, 150 letters came. 150. And each letter had multiple signatures. Multiple. Then a few days later, another letter came in which it was written, the dates have turned green, the fruit has ripened, the water has overflown. Which basically meant, the stage is set. We are all ready. You come, we join you, we thrash the Umayyads, and then you will be the Khalifa. Many letters came, thousands of them. Then the Imam, the Hakim Imam, the wise Imam, did not take a decision to leave right away. The Imam appointed Muslim ibn Aqil to go to Kufa, assess the situation, and write back whether the Kufans are sincere and the situation is really like that which is written in the letters. And he wrote, the Imam wrote a letter to the Kufans in which he said, I am sending to you Akhi, my brother, Wabn Ammi, my cousin. And the third word, I want you to pay attention to this word. Wathiqati. And my thiqah. What does that mean? My thiqah means someone I trust. I trust someone who will never betray me. Someone who will never be bought by anyone. Because the Imam had seen how the commanders of Imam Hassan's army were bought out by Muawiyah. How Imam Hassan was left alone. But Muslim ibn Aqil, the Imam said, no. He's a thiqati. No one can buy him. This precious commodity is not for sale because Muslim ibn Aqil has already sold his soul to Imam Hussein. Which means he has already sold himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muslim ibn Aqil left with 3 companions and went first to Medina. Over there he did the ziyarah, recited the prayers in the Medina mosque and got 2 guides to take him to Kufa. It was not that easy that he would just start and go to Kufa. He needed guides. On the way, the guides died of thirst after they lost way. But nevertheless, he continued and eventually he reached Kufa. He entered Kufa at night time and stayed at the house of Mukhtar Thaqafi. When the Shia heard that Muslim has arrived, they started to visit the house of Mukhtar Thaqafi. And each time a group of Shia would come to the house of Mukhtar, Muslim would show them the letter of Imam Hussein and read the letter to them, and they would weep and cry. At that time, the governor of Kufa was Nu'man ibn Bashir. The governor appointed by the Umayyads was Nu'man ibn Bashir. When he saw that a lot of people are going to meet Muslim ibn Aqil and there is an uprising in the making, he went to the pulpit and he said, "O people, if you are peaceful, if you do not fight me, I will not fight you. Otherwise, I will fight you with my sword, I'll cut your necks," and so on. There was a man sitting there, Abdullah ibn Muhammad. He said, "These words are the words of a weak man. The Nu'man ibn Bashir said, so be it, I prefer to be a weak man than being disobedient to God. That man, Abdullah ibn Muhammad, wrote a letter to Yazid and said, Nu'man ibn Bashir is a weak man. Appoint someone strong to control Kufa if you want to retain the control of Kufa. The letter came to Yazid. Yazid summoned a man called Sarjun. Sarjun was one of the confidants of Muawiyah. So he summoned Sarjun and said, what do you say about this situation? Sarjun said, if Muawiyah were alive today, would you follow his advice? Yazid said, of course I would. Sarjun said, listen, there is no one better than Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad in the opinion of Muawiyah to govern Kufa. Muawiyah thought Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was the best person to govern Kufa. This is written in the Maqtal of Abi Mikhnaf. It is also written that Yazid was for some reason upset with Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, but nevertheless he appointed Ibn Ziyad to be the governor of Kufa. At that time Ibn Ziyad was in Basra. Ibn Ziyad, the most accursed man on the face of the earth, he left Basra towards Kufa with his entourage and his family. And what did he do? He wore a black turban and covered his face with a veil so that no one could recognize him. The Kufans were waiting for Imam Hussein. So they thought Imam Hussein has arrived, and they started saying, Marhaba, Marhaba, Yabna Rasulullah. Welcome, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, and all that. When he saw that, he became very angry, very displeased. But he did not show that he was not Imam Hussein. He continued with his entourage and went near Darul Imara, the governor house. And over there, Nu'man ibn Bashir ordered who was still the governor of Kufa. He ordered the gate of Darul Imara to be closed, and he went upstairs to the roof of Darul Imara and said, Hussein, return. I am not going to give this government to you that easily. At that moment, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad said, open the gate. Another man said to Nu'man ibn Bashir, he is the son of Marjana, not Hussein. Open the gate. The gate was opened. Ibn Ziyad became the governor of Kufa, went, sat on the pulpit, and he ordered to find Muslim ibn Aqil. When Muslim heard that Ibn Ziyad has become the governor of Kufa, he left the house of Mukhtar because that was a prominent place, and he went to the house of Hani ibn Urwa. Over there, people continued to come to give allegiance to him, the oath of allegiance, the bay'ah, and say that we will join you, we'll support you. Thousands of them. It is said that 18,000 people gave bay'ah to Muslim ibn Aqil. Bay'ah on behalf of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. He took bay'ah from them. 18,000 people. At that moment, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, may Allah's curse be upon him, he had a confidant named Ma'qil. No one recognized Ma'qil in Kufa. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad gave him 3,000 dirhams and said, take this money, find some Shia, and say to him, take me to the man who has come from Mecca. I want to give this money to him for his cause. He found Muslim ibn Awsajah. Muslim ibn Awsajah did not take Ma'qil directly to Muslim ibn Aqil, but to some other house. In the meantime, Muslim ibn Aqil had sent a letter to Imam Hussein with Abis Shakiri. Abis Shakiri is one of the Shuhada of Karbala. He had written a letter to Imam that it looks like everybody is ready to support you. Please come to Kufa. And Abis Shakiri took that letter to Mecca. After that, the situation changed in Kufa. Now this Ma'qil, this accursed man, finally got to meet Muslim ibn Aqil and said, I'm Shia of Ali. He would be the first one to arrive and the last one to leave. He would be sitting all the time with Muslim, got all the secrets and revealed them to Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad summoned Hani ibn Urwa and said, hand over Muslim to me. Hani refused. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad beat up Hani and threw him into the prison, and then sent an army towards the house of Hani to capture Muslim ibn Aqil. When Muslim heard that, what did he do? he ordered the people who had given the allegiance to him to march towards the governor house. 18,000 had given the allegiance to him, and 4,000 were nearby, near the house of Hani ibn Urwa, who were assembled, ready to march. 4,000 men started marching towards the governor house, Darul Imara. Muslim ibn Aqil divided his army into 4 divisions and appointed commanders for each division. At that time, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad called some prominent men of Kufa and said, hey, go and stop this. Convince people to leave Muslim. Those people, those prominent men that Ibn Ziyad had dispatched, they went and started addressing the army of Muslim. They started to say, there is an army from Syria coming soon. Do not fight Ibn Ziyad. He will crush you. You will perish. And slowly, people started to leave Muslim. He said he will stop the stipend, state stipend for you and your families. Women came to those soldiers and grabbed them by hand and took home. Women went to them, to their brothers and sons, and said, there are sufficient number of men to support Muslim. He does not need you. Come with me. Come home. Fathers went and took their brothers and sons and brothers. Men went there and took them away. A narrator says that when we started to march towards Darul Imara, there were 4,000. When we approached the governor house, 300 were left. At the time of Maghrib, only 30 were left. And after Maghrib, Muslim ibn Aqil started to walk towards the gates of Kinda. Then only 10 were with him. And when he passed through the gates, there was no one with Muslim ibn Aqil.